Hello my friends, how are y'all doing out there? It's good to see you for yet another video as we continue to go through Donald Trump's absolute nonsense as he stomps all over the Constitution of the United States, all of our relationships with other countries, and our economy, just making a complete mockery of the United States of America. Donald Trump has once again outdid himself. I don't know if you guys caught this little interview that he was doing, but recently he kind of admitted that a lot of manufacturing isn't coming back to America. And it gets worse than that too, and we'll go through that as we get through the video, because then he did something, or said something rather, that absolutely pissed me off when it came out of his mouth. And we're going to talk about all that. But you know what, my friends? One of the most frustrating things in life right now, just one of those things that just makes my blood boil, is having to deal with MAGA. And the reason is because they're always moving the goalpost, right? Every time Donald Trump does something fucking stupid and his ridiculous plan backfires in his face, Donald Trump takes a victory lap, which is super annoying, and then right-wing media takes a victory lap, and then all the little lemmings that he's leading off the cliff take a victory lap about how amazing Donald Trump is and all the great things that he did. It sounds like a nice existence because you no longer have to think for yourself. Just being told what to think sounds pretty fucking cool, honestly. I could see how a lot of people fall for that. And I don't have to get up and think about stuff anymore. They'll do it for me. That's pretty fucking cool, right? But they're constantly moving the goalpost all the time. As we've seen, as Donald Trump has continued to get his ass kicked in trade wars, Canada's whipped his ass over and over. China's whipped his ass, and every time he loses a trade war, we got to listen to a knucklehead do a victory lap about how they just won something. And I don't understand what the fuck it is that they think they're winning. It sort of reminds me of that guy that everybody has in their life. I know that a lot of us are disappointed with the NFL right now because they bowed down to Donald Trump at the Super Bowl because they didn't want to hurt his feelings and make him shit his diaper, so they had to clean up the language on the end zone during the last Super Bowl. And I think the words they were going to put in the end zone was "end racism." Yeah, Donald Trump didn't like that very much, and they removed it and put something else in its place, like "spread love" or something like that. You know, nothing that would challenge his ideas too much about ending racism. But there's that guy that exists in everybody's life who has a favorite football team, and his favorite football team is the team that just won the Super Bowl, right? Every year he's out buying a new jersey, he's taking a victory lap, he's celebrating that his team won yet another Super Bowl, and he excuse me, he always picks the winner after the goddamn Super Bowl's over, and then he's that team's biggest fan. You know, that fucking guy? Unfortunately, in Trump's America, there's no winners in this. It's all fucking losers and a bunch of people prancing around. Let's accuse MAGA of prancing. How about that? Prancing around about how they've won something, and we continue to lose. So the point that I'm trying to get into with all of this is Donald Trump did a little interview recently. You know how he always likes to be on TV, but recently I've noticed, in my opinion, an uptick of interviews with Donald Trump from a tarmac somewhere. He likes to let us know that he gets to fly around in planes at our expense, doesn't he? Well, he's trying to ration your Christmas and tell you that your precious daughter that you bought $30 for every year, excuse me, God, I just had lunch. I'm such a sexy man, ain't I? I'm over here belching, trying to hold it back. My God, I'm a fine, fine man, ladies. How are you doing? I'm leaving that in there because that shit's funny. I'm ridiculous. Anyways, what was I talking about? Oh, yeah, while he's rationing your Christmas gifts, he lets us all know that he gets to fly around in airplanes as much as he fucking wants. And also, he's still trying, I think they took ownership of that $400 billion plane, but none of that, million. I got to get that right. I don't want to spread misinformation. But none of that matters. That's not the point of the video. One of the interviews or things he was doing was having to do with how quickly he caved on the European Union tariffs. Once again, Donald Trump gets his ass handed to him by another country that did nothing. They literally didn't respond, as far as I know. If they did respond, it wasn't anything that was really that significant. It was just a thorough ass kicking to Donald Trump yet again. But while they were discussing these tariffs and trade wars that Donald Trump has started with multiple countries, everything that MAGA said was the reason that we were doing it went right out the fucking window, right in front of our fucking faces, my friends. And I'm going to tell you about it because it bothered me. And then we'll get to the thing that actually really pissed me off about the whole thing. But Donald Trump had said during that interview, something along the lines of, we're not actually going to bring all manufacturing back because nobody wants to, we don't want the jobs making socks and t-shirts, is what he said. We don't want those jobs. And I mean, I gotta give him a little bit of credit. He's fucking finally right this time. I don't know how he convinced millions of Americans that we all wanted fucking manufacturing jobs. And I'm talking about like the really shitty manufacturing. Shoes, socks, t-shirts, all that bullshit. Sweatshop like conditions, extremely low wages, middle management breathing down your fucking neck because you're not hitting your quotas for the day, health insurance you can't afford, all that bullshit, long hours, every bit of it. Donald Trump convinced millions of Americans that that's exactly what we wanted. And now I got to listen to the knuckleheads every day tell me exactly that we want manufacturing. No, you fucking don't, because there's actually a lot of manufacturing jobs open in America right now that nobody's taking because nobody fucking wants to do that shit, right? But anyways, Donald Trump said we don't want the jobs manufacturing socks and shirts and all that, those things. Americans don't want those jobs. We're not looking to manufacture those things, all that stuff. And he's fucking right. Except for the fact that he's still tariffing that shit. All right? We were told that the reason Donald Trump was putting tariffs on everything was to bring manufacturing back to America. And I'm going to hammer on a point I've been making over and fucking over on this channel. If you're going to do this, tariffs is the final step, not the first step. You don't just throw tariffs on stuff and suddenly the infrastructure appears for manufacturing to happen. You need to do something else. You need to find a way to incentivize companies to build mass manufacturing plants in America. And they're not going to do that because they simply can't afford to pay us the wages that we need to continue to live in America. So honestly, we all know, us reasonable people know that it's out the fucking window. That's not going to happen at all. But that's a thing that Trump and MAGA are all trying to convince us of that's going to fucking happen. Then you would need to obviously train a workforce. And we're talking, Donald Trump said that we are bringing manufacturing back to America, and that will get rid of tariffs. And he's fucking lost his mind, my friends. He's not very fucking bright, that guy. But that's what he said would happen, right? We're bringing manufacturing back. So if we're bringing all manufacturing back to America, you would need a workforce of millions and millions and millions of people ready to fill those jobs. We have not started building infrastructure. We have not started training a workforce to do such things. It seems like Donald Trump may just be blowing smoke up our asses, my friends, instead of actually coming up with a fucking plan. But he's 100% right. That we don't want those jobs in America. They don't provide for the cost of living in America. And they're going to have shit health insurance that we can't fucking afford anyways, because for some reason we live in a third world country that doesn't even fucking give health insurance to our citizens as part of the taxes we pay into the fucking system. It doesn't make a whole lot of fucking sense now, does it, to bring this manufacturing back to America? But like I said, like my little outburst earlier when I started yelling at you guys, we're still being tariffed on all of these things. Donald Trump has still raised our prices by at least 30% on products that he has outright said we are not bringing back to America. Americans don't want those jobs. We're making no effort whatsoever to bring those jobs back. So Donald Trump just told you, America, he just told every one of you, I raised your prices for no fucking reason. And we don't know if it's no reason or not, because a thing I'm suspicious of is Donald Trump and Elon Musk hijacked the U.S. government just a couple short months ago, right? Where we don't really know what Elon Musk has control of. Where is the tariff money going? Because if these tariffs were coming in by the billions and billions like Donald Trump says, I would want the government to come out and tell us what all this extra billions in revenue is going towards. Right now we've got a big beautiful bill where they're trying to give massive tax cuts to the rich while fucking the poor, while taking away Medicare, Medicaid, SNAP benefits. The list goes on of all the things they're trying to cut to the poor people of America. Yet they're charging us. So cuts to Americans plus a 30%, at least 30% tax on every fucking thing that you buy that is going to make us so fucking rich we won't be able to believe it, is what Donald Trump said. We don't even know where this money's going. There's no plan to enrich the Americans' lives whatsoever. None of this makes fucking sense, Donald Trump. None of this fucking makes sense, bootlickers of Donald Trump. MAGA, you lunatics, you absolute fucking psychopaths. None of this makes any fucking sense whatsoever. And so we're basically just here holding the bag on this extra at least 30% tax rate for absolutely no reason. Donald Trump did it just to fucking do it. Now I'm going to tell you about the thing that really made me mad, the thing that really pissed me off during this conversation. And I bet a lot of you caught it too when Donald Trump was having this conversation. He said, we don't want those manufacturing jobs. You know what we want in America? Chips and computer. That's what Donald Trump said. We need to start manufacturing chips and computer. And you know what? If only America had a bill or something, something along the lines of, I don't know, let's call it a Chips and Science Act, where we invested in the manufacturing of chips in America. Wouldn't that be a really cool thing? Yeah, because it was. Under Joe Biden, we had the Chips and Science Act, and correct me if I'm wrong on this. I know Donald Trump axed the motherfucker, but I think he axed it through executive order, right? So here's what's fucking going on with that, right? One of two things. Either Donald Trump doesn't actually know what chips are, and he's on the fucking phone with Frito-Lay right now, blowing them the fuck up, going, we need more chips, the fat fuck. That could be possibly what he's talking about when he's talking about chips. Or he could be doing what Donald Trump has spent his entire life doing. Finding something good, taking control of that something good, completely fucking it up, and then coming back sometime later, slapping his name on the exact same thing and saying, look at how good I did. Look at the great work I do. So Donald Trump said that we need to start investing into chips and computers here in America after he had gotten rid of the Chips and Science Act, because a man that was far greater than him, a man that was much smarter, was any quality you can think of, it had Joe Biden's name on it. And you know how Donald Trump hates that, because there's so many men in this country that are greater men than Donald Trump. And he can't fucking stand when they do something good, right? So he's over there tearing down any work that Joe Biden did. And here's how this is going to go down, my friends. This is the shit that makes me really fucking mad, because this is probably how it's going to go down. I would bet you that the vast majority of MAGA did not know anything about the Chips and Science Act. If they heard about it, Fox News was vilifying it for some reason. But I can promise you that Fox News was never celebrating it and talking about how this is a great investment in America's future. But there's a good chance that they never even knew the fucking thing existed. So Donald Trump comes in, axes the fucking thing, completely fucking obliterates it, waits a month or two, and then I bet you there's a strong possibility, my friends, that he revives it through executive order the same way he got rid of it, right? And he gets to do this. We had the Chips and Science Act that now a lot of Trump supporters have forgotten all about, right? They're not even fucking thinking about it. And he's going to come out and go, look, I have started the Donald Trump Chips and Science Act, my friend. And it absolutely blows my fucking mind, because we know these are things that need to happen. Joe Biden knew those were things that needed to happen. And I understand that was a bill that went through Congress and the Senate, and it got voted through, and all those people that voted for it knew that it was something that needed to happen. America needs to keep up with technology, right? No, we don't want to sew the Nikes together. We don't want to make socks. We don't want to make shoes. We need to keep up with technology in the world, which is why we had a Chips and Science Act. Donald Trump knew that the entire time. He knew it all along, and all he's doing at our expense, at the expense of everyday working class Americans, decided to fuck that thing off and then come back a couple months later so he could slap his name on it and talk about what a great job he did. And what pisses me off is how I said MAGA always moves the goalpost at the beginning of this. If they knew about the Chips and Science Act, my guess would be when Donald Trump got rid of it, they probably were like, yeah, it was full of corruption and Hunter Biden was getting new laptops and whatever bullshit they were coming up with, and they were cheering on the destruction of it. And now that Donald Trump, in my opinion, is going to most likely bring that back here pretty soon. Maybe I'll be wrong. Hey, we're watching it all unfold. But when he slaps his name on it, and it's going to be the same thing, it's going to be the same fucking bill, he's just going to throw his name on it, and they're going to go, hell yeah, Donald Trump is investing in the future of America. He knows what he's doing and all that shit. And it's just this constant repeating process. We have seen it with the trade wars. So far, where Donald Trump fucks something up that was just fine, and then he backs off of his tariffs and takes a victory lap for the thing that he should have left the fuck alone in the first place. And we're going to see that exact same thing with this Chips and Science Act, because that's just how Donald Trump works. So I don't know if y'all caught that interview. It was a very, very short, just a couple questions on a tarmac sort of thing. But it really stood out to me, just to kind of recap, because he said we're not bringing that kind of manufacturing back to America and we don't want it. And now I can bet you that MAGA's running all over the internet going, yeah, we never wanted that shit anyways. What are you talking about? But after they spent the last 2 months while the economy was being destroyed going, we're bringing back manufacturing. It's fucking maddening, my friends. It is absolutely fucking insane. Anyways, I forgot what else I was going to say, and this video has gone on long enough, so I'm going to get in my little truck here and drive away from Atlanta because the rain is pouring over here, and I don't want to be here anymore, so I got to go. Love you guys. Bye now.